Hello, everyone. This is Dr. Sharon H. Porter, and this is the Grind Entrepreneur Network Spotlight. And boy, do we have a treat for you in the spotlight today. Today in our spotlight, we have none other than Tish Hawken. She is a self-esteem and resilience coach specializing in helping female entrepreneurs and corporate career women build self-worth, inner strength, and success in their lives. Following many years of consecutive major life lows in her teenage years and early 20s, Tish kept her careers intact and learned how to develop grit and resilience with almost next to no support. She has a successful coaching business as a multidisciplinary life coach where she is passionate and committed to helping individuals to recover from low self-esteem and confidence and poor self-belief. Her debut book, Grit School, Overcoming Your Biggest Personal Obstacles to Achieve Your Greatest Success, was a hit, reaching #1 bestseller in 3 categories on Amazon within 3 hours of its release in August 2018. She is happily married. She has 2 daughters aged 11 and 18. She enjoys a wonderful lifestyle in Abu Dhabi, UAE, and occasionally visits her Wiltshire home in the UK periodically to breathe in the English countryside. Tish Hawken, welcome to the Grind Entrepreneurs Network Spotlight.
Thank you so much, Dr. Sharon. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. I am so excited that we have connected. I gave quite a bit of information about you, but please take this time to just share a little more specific information about Tish Hawken.
Oh, well, do you want past or present?
A little of both.
I've not always been a coach. I started life as an old-fashioned secretary, and I also was an entertainer as well. I used to sing every weekend. I sing for my supper, and also work during the week as a secretary. And it was only after experiencing a lot of hardship between the ages of 14 and 27 that I knew that one day I would like to help people. So when I was 36, I decided to retrain to be a counselling therapist. And from that time, now I'm 48 years old now, so 12 years on, I had a successful career working as a counsellor for the British NHS and some children's charities as well. And then a couple of years ago, I decided that I was going to leave the counselling behind and then turn my efforts towards coaching, because what I was seeing more and more was that people needed to be helped to be brought out of the problem rather than to keep analysing the problem. So here I am today.
Awesome. And I tell you, you are originally from the UK, but you have moved to Abu Dhabi. First of all, tell us about that move. What made you do the relocation? And I'm sure you are having a ball in Abu Dhabi. So tell us about that transition.
Okay, so so I'm originally from the UK. I'm actually originally from Liverpool, where the Beatles are from. But my husband got work here basically, and he got work here just over 2 years ago, and it wasn't the right time for me to move my youngest daughter then, and so I waited for a couple of years, and I actually moved out. It's actually 5 weeks tomorrow, so I've only been here for 5 weeks, but it's been an amazing, experience. It's so different from the UK. Obviously, the weather is much hotter. The lifestyle is very much an outdoor lifestyle, whereas at the moment in the UK, it's cold and it's raining, and I don't miss that. So I've come here, to follow my husband, if you like, but the beauty of having the online business is that I can work from anywhere. So I can just pick up the laptop and off I go.
Absolutely. So let's dive into your coaching, because you actually coach on several different levels, with the self-esteem, and that's so needed. Talk a little bit about some of the services you provide as a life coach.
So I offer transformational sessions really, and I don't offer single sessions. What I do is I take a person from where they are to where they want to be, and what I specialise in is women who've had some level of success already, but life has thrown them a huge curveball. It could be anything from a relationship breakdown to maybe illness, or it could be that something from the past is revisiting them, and it's affecting the way they feel about themselves, their value, their worth and their belief, and in turn it's affecting their business. And so that's where I come in, and we look at where they are, and I use my experience as an ex-counselling therapist, but also my sort of coaching qualifications to help them to reclaim their inner strength that they once had, so that they can then continue forward in their business. Because as you know, Sharon, you are your business, and so if they're really struggling, then you can almost guarantee the business will be struggling as well. So I'm not a business coach, but the work helps the ladies to get back on track with their businesses, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. And with entrepreneurship, especially starting, there are challenges that one faces. And the challenges really, they don't stop because you continue to have challenges. Even if you are, if you're not emerging, if you've been in business for a while, there are obstacles, barriers, and challenges. Talk a little bit about how your services really help, even though you're not a business coach, but helping with that self-esteem and doing all those things, how that can really help a woman entrepreneur stay on track, because you yourself faced a lot of things, but you kept intact with everything that you had going on. So talk a little bit about how you can help them do that.
So what I can help them with is, first of all, when your self-esteem is low, or when your belief is waning, and when you're feeling bad about yourself, one of the first things that can go is your planning and organisation. And for women to be able to get back on track with how they plan things, even if they only do 2 or 3 activities a day, just to start that momentum going again for the business to get back on track. But also their vision, because when you're consumed with negative feelings and negative emotions, the vision for what you once had and your goals can become really foggy. And so helping them to clear those emotions and to help them rethink or reframe their thinking can then help pave the way for them to get their vision back of exactly what it was they're trying to achieve. And what you said before, Sharon, was right, because there are a lot of ladies who come to me who are just starting and ask for help and advice, because they're only a few months in, and then they're hit with a challenge, and then they say, I'm really struggling, I don't know how to do this. And I think at the beginning, the challenges are really difficult. So sometimes I do have ladies who come from me who are just starting up as entrepreneurs. So it's all about your thinking. I'm sure you'll agree. It's all about the way you think, because it's linked to the way you feel. So they are their business. And as I said, if they're not 100% or between 90 and 100% within themselves, their business is going to start to slow down and wane. And so if we get to the root cause of what they're feeling and how they can move forward, they can then start to concentrate back onto their business once that they feel much better.
Absolutely. So now let's talk about Grits. You're a #1 Amazon bestseller in not 1 category, not 2, but 3 categories. Let's talk about Grit. How did you come about writing this book? And tell us a little bit about what the reader can expect if they purchase and read your book.
Okay. It's actually called Grit School. There is another book called Grit, which was written by a doctor, but that's not mine. Mine's called Grit School, and Basically, I wrote this book because when I decided to go into entrepreneurship, which was 2 years, it was only 2 years ago, I originally went into network marketing. I decided to turn my back on everything therapeutic, and I said, I'm done with that. And so I went into network marketing, and I had 12 wonderful months of doing that. But what I saw was what I explained just a little bit earlier, was a lot of ladies, female entrepreneurs who I was connecting with, were starting up their businesses, and they were failing at the first hurdle. And sometimes the slightest thing, and it seemed like I had no resilience. Or they were struggling with knowing how to develop their resilience, and I thought I can really help these ladies. And that's when I started to develop my coaching business. But then I also thought, you know, I can really put all this information down in a book. And the book is really aimed at predominantly new starters. But the successful entrepreneur can pick it up as well, because there'll be things in there for everybody. But what they can expect is to be led on a journey from recognizing in detail and getting clear on why they've picked up that book. There's a reason why they have. And then I talk about how to reduce stress, how to get control of their emotions, how to raise their vibration. So how to do things to raise their vibration, how to choose better thoughts, and how to focus on better thoughts rather than letting all the negative ones come in. And then I look at their inner strengths and how they've already been awesome in the past, and how to really pull those strengths out. I call that chapter Bring Out Your Inner Lioness, because I just think that's what we need to be as female entrepreneurs. We need to be lionesses. And so it takes you on a journey, but also there's some goal setting in there, you know, your usual goal setting and your vision and everything. But this is a book that you don't just have to read from start to finish. You can take it and you can look at the chapter which may be more pertinent to you, and you can just dip in and out when you need it. And so it's very much a book for everybody, really. But it took me 6 months to write, and I'm really proud of it.
Absolutely, I can only imagine, because I love authors. I'm an author myself, and I just tell everyone, especially if you're an entrepreneur, you have an expertise and you need to share it in publication. So I'm glad that you took that next level and did that. And so I want to talk, Tish, just a little bit about, you touched on it, with the self-esteem and also limiting beliefs that we as women and entrepreneurs have. Oftentimes, we often look to others for validation. And one of the things that comes with self-esteem is knowing that you are good enough, more than enough, without any validation. And a lot of times self-esteem is hit by that when you don't think you either have the support that you think you should have, or certain people are not saying or doing things that, you know, you feel that they should. Can you talk a little bit about how we as entrepreneurs, female entrepreneurs, really need to branch out and use that self-esteem that you talked about to know that you are good enough, and that will help carry you through entrepreneurship and life? So can you talk a little bit about that?
I think, firstly, for the very fact that you have, a woman has decided to go into entrepreneurship, there has to be a little spark there, just even a tiny spark, to know that she's good enough to do this, because she's been brave enough to take that step. That's the first thing. Using self-esteem, obviously, is our self-esteem. The self-esteem and self-belief isn't there, and they're two separate things, I think. You know, self-belief is about knowing that, trusting in your skills and abilities, and knowing that you may have the skills and abilities, but you could have poor self-esteem, which is how you value yourself. And when you look in the mirror, what do you see? You know, we really have to do some personal work if our self-esteem is low, about where those beliefs come from, that you're not valuable, and how to recognize why you internalize them, normally as a younger person. you know, maybe it was a teacher who said you weren't good enough, or maybe it was a parent or a sibling, or it could have been anybody, because we're like sponges as children, aren't we? So we take on board what people say, but also subliminal messages as well, you know. And so for me, when I was younger, life taught me at that time, or so I thought, that I was unworthy of lots of things. And as I did personal development, which obviously in the entrepreneurial world is absolutely paramount, I suddenly realised that actually I am worthy just for the fact that I was born. I don't need validation from anybody. I don't need to earn it. I don't need to earn my value. I just am. And so once I realised that, the validation from other people was not important anymore. So I matched my self-esteem up with my self-belief. And when you do that, you become unstoppable, because not what anybody says, it really doesn't matter. Having that self-belief and that knowing that you are worthy just because you were born, there's nothing can stop that then.
Absolutely. And you know, you really hit it when you said once you have that, you are unstoppable, because that's the minute that I became free is when I stopped allowing others' thoughts and actions dictate what I did, how I felt, what I said. It changed my life. And so I'm very glad to hear you say that. Absolutely. And so, Tish, how can the beauty of this online coaching is that you can actually have clients anywhere in the world. And so those individuals who are out here listening, whether they're in the UK, whether they're in the UAE or the US, if they want to hire you and connect with you, please tell them how to do that.
Okay, yeah, well, you can contact me via my website. That's tishhawken.com. So Hawken is Hawken. There's no S, so it's tishhawken.com. You can look me up on Facebook. I'm on LinkedIn. Facebook is Tish Hawken as well. And Tish Hawken Resilience Coaching is my business page. So there's multiple platforms. I'm on every platform apart from Pinterest. So yeah, tishhawken.com is the best way to contact me.
Absolutely. And where can they purchase Grit School?
You can go to Amazon. If you type into the search box, it depends whether you want it on Kindle or paperback. So if you want it on Kindle, just type in Grit School Kindle or Grit School paperback, and it should come up. It should be available there for anyone who'd like to purchase it.
Awesome. Tish Hawken without the S. I want to say thank you so much. And before we leave, what final message would you provide to entrepreneurs?
You are stronger than you know. It's very simple. You are stronger than you know. There's no other words than that. You just dig deep. When times are hard, just dig deep and find the strength inside you, because you can do this.
I love that. Guys, I have been talking with Ms. Tish Hawken. She has been in the spotlight, the grind entrepreneur. I tell you, I appreciate you all the way from Abu Dhabi. And I know I'm jealous because I know it's beautiful. So I thank you for taking the time and being in the spotlight for us. So thank you.
Well, thank you so much for having me. It's been fantastic. Thank you, Dr. Sharon.
And guys, thank you for joining as well. I am Dr. Sharon H. Porter. This is the Grind Entrepreneur Network Spotlight, where we feature entrepreneurs on their grind. Have a wonderful day.